Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Most welcome to the page here on GBC News. This is where we do chit chatting. This is where we get those who matter when it comes to sports development. And today we're looking at tennis. Something good is happening in the tennis landscape. Remember, every day I get opportunity to talk about tennis. I always remind you that one of the most consistent and very, very active disciplines since corporate time till now has been tennis. Any day you go to the various tennis courts, not only at the Accra Sports Stadium, but all tennis courts dotted around the country, there is action taking place. Some international, some local, some the grudge matches, and especially the ladies. Everybody coming on board. The socials are coming on board, and so it's becoming more interesting. You see, as Samoa Jan and the friends now, Black Star players are now playing tennis. Boxers are now playing tennis. So all the other disciplines, athletes over there are turning to tennis. What really is the key that is driving everybody to love tennis? Today, we are talking about tennis because at the end of the day, there is going to be this big thing that will change the fortunes of tennis in this country. It's about elections. The Ghana Tennis Federation will be going to Congress in an elective one to really see if they will maintain the current leadership or bring in change to go forward. It's at a crossroads now. And the last time we had the president of the Ghana Tennis Federation in the house did indicate that he's going again. I have another personality in the house who today is coming to tell me more. He also says he wishes to serve Ghana tennis for the next 4 years. What really is he having? Let me introduce my guest to you. No other person than the evergreen Roger Crawford. He happens to be the CEO of the Tennis Foundation Ghana. Roger, most welcome.
Thank you, too.
It's been a pleasure. The last
Yes.
time we came here, we're talking about so many things.
Yes.
So far, so very good. Now, something is happening at the Accra Sports Stadium. For the past month, we've been seeing the ITF really keeping its eyes here. What really has been happening at the court so far?
Thanks for having me, Theo. So the last 6 weeks, we had 6 weeks of International Tennis Federation Junior Tour events at the stadium. It's the first of its kind. When I say first of its kind, you hardly find any place in the world where you have 6 consecutive weeks of competition. So we started with an entry-level J30. 2 weeks of that, we went to 2 weeks of J60, which is like a mid-level, and then 2 weeks of a J100. It's a very high level. So for the first time anywhere in West Africa, we were able to host these events here. And so, as I keep saying, Tennis Foundation Ghana is here to make the Ghana Tennis Federation shine.
So if you look at this dream you had, okay, let's bring in the Ghana Tennis Federation Foundation. If you look at this particular project you had with your team and all the plans, will you say it has been worthwhile really bringing out such a foundation?
Absolutely, Theo. And the reason for bringing these events here is this. Usually our players in the past will have to travel outside the country, maybe outside the continent even, to be able to participate in these events, to be able to get points to matter in the world of tennis, to be ranked. Now, as you know, funding is a thought thing for a lot of our players to be able to afford airfare, hotels, and then travel around the world playing. So what this affords them is that they're able to compete for the same points right in their backyard with home advantage. So yes, the impact was felt, and we all are very happy.
And from the day it started, it didn't start this year. It started some years back that we've been seeing the ITF giving Ghana the nod to really do it through your foundation. What will you say has been the impact on the local players, especially the girls as
well? So let me take this opportunity to let everybody know and congratulate Sisu Tumega, because she ended up winning one of the events. She was the overall winner, which is never happened before in the history of tennis in this country. And of course, our boys all did well. In the earlier weeks, they were either winning the doubles or some singles as well, and then ending up also in the finals. So they all were able to, accumulate a few points here and there where it matters, and their rankings are moving upwards.
Great. Now, I hear you said you want to run for the presidency of the Ghana Tennis Federation.
Yes.
So officially, this national team, have you thrown in your request that you really want to lead Ghana Tennis Federation?
Yes. So as many of you know, I contested for this position in 2019. I lost, but I stood in that place and told everybody I'm going to work right there and then. So I've been working consistently for the past 4 years, and I've never made it a secret. Everybody around in the tennis world in Ghana knows that I'm contesting. So officially for 2023, I'm throwing my hat in the ring again, and hopefully, I'm hoping that the fortunes will change so that I'll be able to help Ghana tennis.
You lost the previous elections.
Yes.
You didn't give up, meaning that the grounds where you operate has been made fertile for you by the current administration. Why don't you say, okay, let me put my strength behind you, back you, and let's do this?
So, as you know, leadership, the way leadership works, not just here but around the world, is always different. What I mean by different is that people in power, those who make decisions, usually do not take advice from the people that they beat in an election.
So you mean
Barack
yes.
Obama famously said elections have consequences. So whoever you put in power is the person going to make the decisions.
Yes.
I have come in with different suggestions and decisions, and more often than not, it's not heeded. And
But you operating, and tennis is growing.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
under this current administration.
Absolutely, yes.
So why don't you continue that way and allow them to?
Two different ball games.
Great.
Two different ball games.
So I chanced on a document you are having circulating. So I have one here. Viewers, I have this document here. So it is the Ghana Tennis Federation plan, according to Roger Crawford. And very soon, my camera is zooming in. So Roger is saying that he's running as a candidate for the November elections here. And so let me go quickly. So he says he's having a short-term deliverables, long-term growth, and then his vision for the Ghana Tennis Federation. So, Roger, this document, we are coming to break them down. So
Right.
I want you are here. You are the perfect person to answer these questions. Now tell me, why this document? Let's go up and let me see the first one there. You said, so your intro, let me come to your intro. You said, for 4 years, like you said, you presented yourself, you didn't win. So, blah, 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 blah. Yes, we are here. One thing certain is that the vision will take Ghana tennis out of the doldrums to be among tennis powerhouses in Africa and the world. Now, let's come here and then let's see something. Why this one? Meaning that there are challenges here and there. Why put your thoughts and aspirations here that, okay, you want to really make sure that you take it from a state you describe as unpleasant? Why?
Well, no, really unpleasant, but we could definitely do way better for Ghana tennis.
Okay.
That's what this document is about.
Okay.
As you know, I mean, we're running for position to serve the sport or the tennis community in Ghana.
Okay.
I think it's very important that we come out, we make it a competition of ideas. And so this is my idea. This is what my blueprint that number one, I think that people can hold me accountable to it. That is not just me coming to stand there and verbally telling them something, but I have this thing, and in 4 years, I know that, like I said, they are short-term deliverables, things that I know that we can do in 4 years, but then it will have long-term impacts.
Okay.
And I will make a segue into the next one, which is the regions.
You said the regions.
Yes.
What about the regions?
So if you look at the regions, right? Now Ghana has 16 regions. Unfortunately, we still are working with the 10 regions. They are the 10 original regions. So they are the only people who have a vote, right? But if you look at how we've operated with them for tennis in a long time, you will see that we really haven't had like even players, coaches, and stuff coming from the regions for a long time, right? And what that has done to us is that we only limit ourselves to Accra. Like when we're picking kids for a national team, for example, it's only Accra, and then sometimes maybe Winneba. Once in a while, we get like a Tracy Ampa from Takwa. But we should have a national approach, an approach where we'll say, you know what, these are the regions of the country. We want every region to have a representation on the national team. So, for example, I say in this document that let's have for under 12, right? Under 14, under 16. Anytime we're going to select a team for the national team, we should have 2 boys, 2 girls from every region. If we have 2 boys, 2 girls from every region, by the 10, we have 20 kids. If we have 20 kids, we camp them, we're able to have them compete. Then we pick the best from them and have them represent the country. What that does also is that even for those who don't make it, they go back to their regions inspired. So there'll be more kids looking up to them, and those kids will say, you know what, if I do well, I get to also go and try out for the national team. And that's how we have tennis growing in the country. But this approach where we just sit here at the stadium in Accra and pick 2, 3 boys who are doing well and say, okay, represent the country, I think it's unfair.
If you pick boys that are doing well, you are going for competitions. Let's say the J30s, it's
right.
The junior ones.
Right.
You're talking about players that really understand.
Right.
Those who are yearning having the desire, the passion to
Right.
go. Then you say, okay, per your understanding, let's go to all the regions,
Right.
get boys over there.
Right.
If
And
simply,
girls. Yes.
and girls, if simply you can get them in Accra that have been playing consistently, that you know that can deliver at the end of the day for you,
Okay.
which one would be okay for you?
So the ITF series that we play, they are individual based.
Yes.
So for example, we had kids who played very well in Upper West, Upper East, and Boga, and those kids we brought them the winner to come and play in the ITF event. So that's individual based. I'm talking about team based events.
Okay.
Team based events. Every kid in Ghana is a Ghanaian child who deserves a shot at representing the country. And I'm saying that we should stop limiting ourselves to just Accra, because again, what that does is that, you know, competition is what it's how we're going to discover or uncover more talent. And if we just limit ourselves to just one region or a couple of regions, then we're not doing we're doing a great disservice to the country.
So let's continue. So aside the regions, you come. You said currently you have a domain for the GTF.
Yes.
What are you trying to push out there?
So this one talks about you know, in the age of this information and digital age, we are still yet, even though we have a national domain, gtftennis.com, we're still yet to incorporate or bring in the regions to that. You see, again, I have a very I'm passionate when it comes to the region. I'll tell you a story. Most people don't realize this, but at the peak of my career in the early 90s, I used to live in Obuasi.
Okay.
Obuasi, it was gold capital. There was money there. But even being able to afford or find somebody to sponsor me from Obuasi to come and play in Accra was a problem. Can you imagine the kid from Tichiman? Can you imagine the kid from Wa, Boga, Tamaga? How are they going to get to Accra and play? So I'm saying that we have to decentralize tennis operations in the country, involve or empower the regions, and let them also take control of what is going on there. And then when we want to pick a team, everybody from the region comes, converge, and the best will represent Ghana. So this domain, for example, as in the 21st century right now, the regions don't feel like they are part of that domain. And when you go to gtftennis.com, it's all the happenings in tennis in Accra. Why don't we give the regions like pages?
Is it everything that happens in Accra or everything that happens in the tennis ecosystem?
Well, because we've limited our tennis ecosystem to Accra. As you know, I've dabbled in tennis around the world. The US has, how many states? 50 states.
Yes.
People or players come from all over because they are doing well, and then the best are selected through a system to represent the country. So if we are talking about 20-something million people with 10 or 16 regions, it should be very easy for us to do.
Okay, then you touched on coaches.
Yes.
What is so unique about the coaches? What really is the current state of the coaches that you feel that when you come, you raise the bar?
So right now, again, not all the regions, right, have coaches paid or hired by the Ghana Tennis Federation. I think it's wrong. Every region should have a coach, and the coach in that region should be able to go around and find talent, whether it's after school or preschool, and have them, you know, nurture them and say, you know what, these are kids that we're grooming for the future. If we just, again, focus on what is going on just in Accra, we'll be leaving a lot of kids I like to describe as faster, stronger, and higher kids all over the country. So coaches, at the moment, those that we are focusing on in Accra, is just limited. If you look at the Coaches Association, most of them are all based in Accra. If we are able to bring at least a coach from all the regions around, we'll be able to have a big Coaches Association, and they will be able to teach other coaches around the country the sport of tennis, and then they in turn will take it. I always like to liken it to how Christianity spread, right? Jesus Christ himself didn't do everything. He found apostles of people that he sent, and they went around and look at where we are now.
So Roger,
every part of the
but
world.
we all know that the National Sports Authority, which is the umbrella body
Right.
mandated by the Constitution and the Ministry of Youth and Sports, has coaches for all the regions. So
No, they don't.
Pay your checks. They don't have. They don't have all coaches.
No, they don't.
But they have some tennis coaches.
Greater Accra has a regional coach. Ashanti doesn't, and if Ashanti doesn't, then I don't want to talk about the rest.
So per your checks as we speak now, you feel that the rest of the regions might not have.
They don't. I know for sure they don't. I've been doing this for a long time. They don't.
Okay, so when delegates decide to give you that note, you're promising them that you are going to liaise with the NSA, or you are going to, as a federation and your board, going to employ coaches and pay them.
Absolutely.
Which one are you doing?
We listen. We will work as a federation. If NSA wants to hire their coaches, they can hire their coaches. But we are getting to a point where we have to take the bull by the horn. It doesn't cost much to hire a coach at the moment. Okay, Tennis Foundation Ghana, we have a coach in Bolga. Okay, we have a coach in a small town in Tranoa in the central region. I can tell, they are the kids at the back of the book, by the way. And if you look at the work that these coaches are doing, it's amazing. If you multiply that by 10, I'm talking about a whole legion of tennis players from around the country.
Okay, so we continue. Then there is one other thing that you said. You said the Ghana Tennis Federation will encourage all coaches to pay monthly annual subscription to
Right.
the Coaches Association of Ghana.
Right.
You want to tax them? You bring in taxation?
Yes, I want to tax them. So you see, you can't belong to this is one of the few places in the world where nobody pays any dues to be part of the federation. But it's in the constitution.
It's in the Ghana Tennis Federation
constitution
that every member should pay.
Yes, yes. And Tennis Foundation Ghana took the lead 4 years ago to help do that. Somehow it was shut down, but it's all political. We'll come to that another time. So if you have coaches, right? The coaches get into, or they need like a coaches seminar and things like that. They don't have the money to do that. And a lot of time the federation doesn't have the money to do that. But if the coaches themselves are strong financially, any group that is strong financially is a powerful group.
Okay.
So we are just encouraging them to pay towards their own.
These documents, if delegates give you the nod,
yes,
they will be looking at these documents to judge you.
Absolutely, in 4 years. Absolutely.
So we move on. Now you said officiating.
Yes.
What about that?
Officiating. So Tennis Umpires Association of Ghana, we call them TWAG. They are the recognized officiating officials body in Ghana. The same thing as the coaches. They're not paying dues. They organize in somewhat, but they are not. They could use some more, support from the Ghana Tennis Federation. A lot of times what we do is once in a while we say, okay, let's host an officiating course for them. There are so many officials or umpires running that through Tennis Foundation Ghana are now part of TWAG. We want to make sure that the regions also are able to get their fair share of officials. Not everybody who plays tennis is going to end up being number one in the country or in the world. So we want to give people an avenue, for example, to still be in the tennis space, but maybe not necessarily playing. I mean, I played it. My playing days are over, but now I'm doing tennis administration. Some people are doing tennis officiating. We should be able to grow that. And that is, as I always say, that is, when we say a rising tide, it lifts all boats. Anybody in the tennis space should feel the lift up. So that's what officiating is also.
So yes. When you come, you are going to put this.
Yes, we'll work with them. We're not going to do anything on our own. We'll, with the board together with these the leaders of the various areas are going to work together.
Okay, we move on. So yes. Now let me get back to my board. So these are some pictures of some of the umpires that you have. Now you talk about players.
Yes, very important.
Where are you placing players in your administration? Should you be given the note?
Okay, so right now we have TPG. They are the tennis professionals of Ghana. They represent players, right? What is happening with TPG right now is that 6 times a year they host something called the National Ranking Tournament. Yes. The National Ranking Tournament is at the mercy of maybe former players like myself, or others are out from other who live outside the country to chip in something for them to organize their competitions. But it shouldn't be so. The Ghana Tennis Federation should work with them, or the Ghana Tennis, or under my administration, we'll work with them and make sure we put some money into it for them. The easiest way for us to do that, I call it a farm system. In the farm system, the people or the farmers who produce, they are the first to be taken care of when money comes into the company, not the people wearing the tie.
Okay.
Right? So I'm saying that TPG is the body that is producing the players for us to go to Davis Cup and go to Billie Jean King Cup. We get some money from that. When we get money from Billie Jean King Cup and Davis Cup, I want a percentage of that. I don't care how small it is, to go back to TPG so they can use that to buy balls, organize their national ranking tournaments, so they can, they feel like they are part of the Ghana Tennis Federation family. Same thing is also happening with wheelchair tennis. So wheelchair tennis, even though wheelchair tennis outside looks like they are part of Ghana Tennis Federation, they really are not under the umbrella of the. There
is a national coordinator. They've been working.
Exactly, but it should be.
Isn't it under Ghana?
No, it should be fully. And I'm sure you heard the last time they had a competition that the Ghana Tennis Federation had to loan them some money and all that. See, these are things that tells you that. And I just heard that the coordinator, for example, wants to run and become part of the board. Right? He shouldn't. I don't think it's a good thing for for us to make him run to be part of it. Automatically should be on the board. Wheelchair tennis is a very important part of tennis, not just in Ghana, but everywhere in the world. We have to fully, embrace wheelchair tennis and put them under the umbrella of the federation.
But the ITF recognizes wheelchair tennis.
Oh, absolutely.
So
and in the
they are
ITF,
funding their support here and there that comes in. So are you saying that currently they are just giving like an island on themselves
yes,
as we speak from
yes,
where you sit?
Yes.
Is that what you are saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. When was the last time you saw the Ghana Tennis Federation organize even like a competition or anything towards wheelchair tennis? It's all done. If the ITF doesn't bring something or a private individual doesn't bring anything, there's nothing going on for wheelchair tennis.
But I've seen the president being around them. Last time they received donations from the ITF. Officials were there to receive it. Everything.
So the Ghana Tennis Federation, or we call them the NS, the national associations, they're representatives of the International Tennis Federation. So like Tennis Foundation Ghana, for example, received money the other day for us to help us host these tournaments. It has to go through the national association before they disburse. So,
okay, so then you talked about your competition. So these are some of the players, pictures of some of these young ones. These are young ones that we know. So if you look at them, really, they are really raising the flag of Ghana very high. Let's move on. You touched on this thing, and this is something I'm coming to actually sincerely.
Yes.
Do you doubt the constitution currently that runs Ghana Tennis Federation?
Absolutely. I don't think it's a fair system. I don't think it's fair at all. There's so many things that needs to, we need to go back on the drawing board with the
and you feel that 4 years you can alter it. 4 years you can.
I mean, what does it take? We'll you see, one thing that I know, I took government in school, right? Executive, take yourself away from a committee that you've put together to review the constitution, right? Once you have influence there, once you say do it this way, do it that way, then you're actually manipulating the system to your advantage, right? And I know in Ghana people talk about incumbency advantage and all that. We don't need that. Let us come up with a fair system for posterity, so that when we're out of the scene, people who inherit this will have a much better system than they came to meet it. I mean, there's so many things that have to be looked at.
And you feel, once again, I'm asking because this is the same constitution that you ran with the last time.
Absolutely.
You didn't win.
Yes.
You are coming back again.
Yes.
And you are still saying
it's the same. It's the same constitution.
You don't trust it. You still don't trust it.
No, it's not just me. There are things that could be done better. I mean, people having spent time in America, we say that the constitution is a living document. You know, there are things that have to be updated or changed with the changing times. So
yes, but your sports have been very, very consistent. You've been playing every day, all tennis courts.
It's not just about playing. Leadership is everything, right? Leadership is what is the head. It's what directs where tennis goes. I mean, listen, I describe myself as a one of a kind person, and the reason why I say that is, people who usually go in and contest for these elections, they lose and they're gone because they're like, okay, fine. If you don't want me and my ideas, I'm gone, and then they move on with their lives to do something else. I was born into tennis, eat, breathe, sleep tennis. And so nobody can move me away from that. I don't care whether I'm winning again or I'm losing again. This is my life. This is what I do. So when I see things don't go well with it, I will talk about it.
Then this one, you talked about treasurer.
Yes. I talk about the treasurer because this is the first time we actually officially going to have a treasurer on the board. See, you couldn't believe it. For an organization that handles money this much, it is very, very important that we have a treasurer, and I commend the Ghana Tennis Federation for that. It shows that people are ready to be transparent and open and show some accountability. And so again,
so you feel that there's this gray area about really when you hear people say, okay, we don't have enough money here to send players outside, blah blah blah. These are the things.
Yes, because
or you see sponsorship around. Then you say, okay, we don't have enough. Then you be questioned. Is that
absolutely? So a treasurer, and I said I want to even call this like a financial controller. An organization like Ghana Tennis Federation receives money from the ITF, receives some other small money here and there. It has to be accounted for. The president, I'm not the one. It's not my responsibility to do that. Even though I can have oversight, but the special office has to handle that. Here in your company, I don't think your executives are the people who handle that. There is an accounts office that handles payroll and does everything money, because money is good and can be tricky and dangerous as well.
So then I come here, International Tennis Federation tournaments.
Yes.
So why do you capture it that
yes. Way? So here's my idea for more ITF tournaments in the region. Again, I like to talk about the European and the US style. Most kids who play in that part of the world, they don't leave their immediate geographic areas because there are tournaments for them to play year round. And so they play, and by the time you realize they're like, oh, top 20 in the world, top 150 in the world, and that kind of stuff, because the tournaments are there. I want us to have the same thing in West Africa. So I want us to use the framework of ECOWAS and have all our ECOWAS friends also host some of these events. Then this way, we wouldn't have spent so much money traveling to other parts of the world to go and, for our players to go and find points. If Nigeria is hosting some, Togo is hosting some, Ghana is hosting some, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, all these countries around here are hosting a few tournaments. All we have to do is send our players to different parts of West Africa and still be able to get these points.
Okay. So in 4 years, you'll be able to convince the rest of the people,
yes,
your colleagues,
yes,
that you've built
we
bridges
will.
with.
We've actually through Tennis Foundation Ghana, already started talks. But again, there are some people. I think it's wrong for me to say Tennis Foundation Ghana is going to lead the charge to do that when there is a national association.
I'll come to the Tennis Foundation. If you are giving the note, I'll come to the Tennis Foundation.
Yes.
How are you going to decouple yourself from being the president of Ghana Tennis Federation and then also the CEO? So we'll come there. Let's go. And then you said the national admin plan. We need to.
Oh my God, this is huge. But
yeah, we just touch on one or two so that my viewers will really understand where we're going to, the type of leadership we really want to see in Tennis Federation. So when the Ministry of Youth and Sports is dealing with you, they can be more professional and more open to you guys. So,
yes.
So national admin.
So the national admin plan is basically to strengthen and empower the Secretary General's office, right? So as you speak right now, maybe you don't know, but if you go walk into the stadium right now, you wouldn't find an office for Ghana Tennis Federation. And you were talking about all the events that we are doing, but you find an office for Tennis Foundation Ghana. So I'm saying that we have to start taking what we do seriously, so others will take it serious. Now, the Secretary General is there. The Secretary General, just like, anybody.
The CEO. You want the Secretary General to be seen as the CEO.
Absolutely.
Just like the way Ghana
absolutely
athletics are doing now.
Thank you very much.
There will be a CEO.
Yes. So the Secretary General will run everything tennis. The president and the board will do their things about, whether it's attending these meetings or finding sponsorship and all that. But anything administrative has to go through the tennis Secretary General's office.
But when you get to the tennis court right now, the Frank Ofori tennis court,
yes,
there's a small
Tennis Foundation Ghana.
Okay. So we move on.
Yes.
Now, this woman you put here, this is a fabulous woman.
Yes, she
everybody
is.
knows.
Yes.
Auntie Filipina Frimpong.
Yes.
Okay. She said our plan is to have one team to print, mount, remove all banners, blah blah blah. Everything is like you're going to be a new quote unquote tax collector. Everything you're looking for cash. As the cash issue, the reason you're coming on board, that you are the cash man to really pumping cash, or what really is it?
So tennis is money, okay? I work in the tennis industry, and that's how I make a living. And so many people work in the tennis industry. Okay. Tennis has gone from being just a pastime, a social thing that people play anymore, to coaches, players earning a living from it. If we do it and we organize it well, we are going to be successful. Now, this here talks about, when you go to the stadium, on the tennis court, there are all these advertising spaces we have there. Now, I'm sure on the football field, right yes. At the stadium, I'm sure people pay to have the adverts there.
They pay and they put
Why can't we do the same is all I'm asking. Why can't we do the same? That's all it is. Why can't we do the same?
So we'll move on. Time is running fast. So that's the end of your plan.
Yes.
That's your picture with your daughters. And so now let me come to my real wahala I have
here. Yes, go ahead.
In just a minute, we're checking out from the studio. You happen to be the CEO for Tennis Foundation Ghana.
Yes.
One of the, I call them, as you speak now, I call you guys one of the advocates for tennis development and modernity, bringing fresh ideas.
Right.
When you, the same individual, you've gone to your constituents, you want them to give you the mandate to lead the tennis federation itself.
Right.
How do you draw the dichotomy that we see you really acting and working as the president for Ghana Tennis Federation?
Right.
So the same person acting as the CEO?
So as you know, Tennis Foundation Ghana for over a year now has been TFG Holdings, and the reason is because we are not just into organizing tennis events anymore. As I'm sure you know, at the stadium we have Egalite restaurant. We also have tennis shops in Accra, in Takwa, satellite in Bolga, and then another shop in Ho, with different places around the country. So I'm the chairman of the board. Okay, I'm now in an advisory role. I don't know if you know Miss Catherine Sue.
Yeah.
So she's the CEO of all our operations, Tennis Foundation Ghana. So in my absence, she's the one that acts and runs everything, even as we speak right now. As you know, I've been in the country since August.
Yes.
I help direct things, when they need something, they come up to me and all that. But totally moving away, or I've moved away from the day-to-day running of all those businesses.
In
Yes.
4 years,
Yes.
you've given us a document that you feel that in 4 years it is achievable.
Absolutely.
But
Short term. Yeah.
in a country like ours, where you're going to still interact with individuals,
Yeah.
organizations, to really make this dream a reality, don't you think that you are punching above your weight?
Absolutely not. If you look at what I call short-term deliverables, if you look at everything that we've touched on, I mean, hiring coaches. If let's say the Ghana Tennis Federation doesn't have money to hire coaches, I can personally hire coaches and pay them around the country. I don't see how that is not achievable. In the end, are we able to develop tennis around or across the country? Yes. So as to who gets credit for what, it's never been our style. Our style is to make sure that Ghana tennis wins, and that's why we go on with.
So on that note, Ghana tennis will be winning, and one of the candidates is here. I am waiting to get the rest of the candidates. So far, I have two. The incumbent president, he will be coming back again. The other day, he came to talk about other things they are doing. But he really come here and come and also tell us more. But he just announced it for us that, okay, remember, I'll also still be going because I know I have done so much. At the end of the day, it's about making Ghana tennis grow stronger,
yes,
and better, to become one of the good old days where people look at tennis and then say, no, I will leave my funeral, I will leave my sleep and come to the courts.
Absolutely.
And come and play. Infrastructure-wise. Anyway, Africa Games is just around the corner. As we prepare, let's just hope and then urge leadership to make sure that tennis gives us a gold medal. Roger, this is not the last time we're going to get you here. Today is a special day.
Yes.
I hope that in the coming days we'll get you more so that we look at how to really reposition tennis in terms of even getting the infrastructure.
Absolutely.
And making it very, very accessible for everybody. So
yes,
that's Roger Crawford. I call him the CEO for Ghana Tennis Foundation Ghana. The rest is saying holdings, blah, blah. But that's Roger for you. The next time he comes here, we'll be looking at this award system that it has been on the ice for a while now.
Yes.
The tennis awards. The first time it happened, it brought life. Everybody was excited, and I'm hoping that it bounces back so that
it will bounce back.
We honor those who deserve to be honored.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's been the page. I am Theophilus Sampa. Do enjoy the rest of our programs. Bye for now.